And I'd like to welcome everyone back for our weekly update as we work through the coronavirus situation. And last week we had Ron Sari from Wapaka Schools and Aaron Jensen from the state of Wapaka on with us. And we're back together for week 2 as we all work together to hopefully combat this and move on as quickly as we can. And Ron, I'll start with you. Give me the quick overview. What's the status of the school district right now?
Well, we just learned, Josh, that we're probably going to be not opening until at least April 24th. And that's what we're planning on right now. We don't know what the future is going to hold, but we know that. The other thing is we just had a kind of a historic moment last night by having our first virtual school board meeting. And it seemed to have gone well. I think we've learned some things that went well and some barriers that we want to improve on for our next meeting.
And as our viewers and listeners can see, we're doing this virtually over a remote conference call, obviously doing the social distancing and just all of us trying to be safe in our own place of work or residence today. And I think a lot of people are going to be doing these virtual meetings. So Aaron, what's the quick overview with city operations right now?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. So as everyone knows, Governor Evers came out with the Safer at Home order a couple days ago. And it took about 24 hours to determine what exactly the details of that were. We happened to be in a department head meeting. Josh, you were in it with Mayor Smith as that order came out. So we kind of put in place.
Changed things quick.
It did. It changed things quick. The purpose of our meeting changed quick. And so because it was the next day that it was supposed to go in place, we kind of made our determination of the essential services and who should be reporting and who could be reporting from a remote location and so on and so forth. So as the details have come out now, I'll just continue working with department heads to make sure we can do, everything we can to get people being productive while being safe. I'll have a meeting with our Parks Director and Public Works Director this afternoon to maybe alter some things that we had put in place more on anticipation for what we thought that would read. So
Ron, let's circle back to the school. What are a couple of things you'd like to highlight in detail? I know last week you talked about, still having, school lunch available to students. How's that been going? And what else, do you want the public and your students and your staff to know about who may be watching this?
Yeah, sure. Well, kind of also complimenting what Aaron just said, this is my last day in the office here right now. And I'll be transitioning to my home and working from home remotely, like the teachers and our ed assistants are actually in the buildings. The only people that are essential staff would be our food service people and our custodians and maintenance people. And at the district office, our accounts payable, accounts receivable are going to be the only people left after today. So it's really down to a real bare bones in the buildings. But, from a food service standpoint, we're pretty excited about the amount of interest and the amount of meals that we're serving right now. I've been told that typically over the summer, when we have summer school and the meals, which are subsidized by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, that we have about 200 meals. Well, every day, the amount of meals that we serve increases. Yesterday's numbers were 281 students receiving meals. So that was more than we anticipated. And as I said, it keeps growing, getting bigger and bigger every day. Home deliveries, 84 students are getting home delivered meals. And that's either because they're self-quarantined or a family member is, or they don't have transportation to do the pickup. And we're picking up both at the WLC and the high school. At the WLC yesterday, we had 124 students get meals, and at the high school we had 73 pickups. So when families come and pick up for a student, they're actually getting 2 meals. They're getting that day's meal and then the following day's breakfast. And we had approximately 840 total meals distributed yesterday when you include the breakfast and the lunch. So Go Right Way has been working with us, and they have 3 vans, 3 different routes that they're delivering. And the deliveries take place between 10:30 and the pickups as well, 10:30 and 12:30, Josh.
Very good. So Aaron, on the city side, residents might be wondering what services are still available, what's not available. If my water is having an issue or if there's a wastewater issue, will that be taken care of? what are the essential services on the city side that our residents should know are going to be there and available no matter what?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. First, I'll start by saying that anyone can get the most updated press releases on the City of Waupaca website at citywaupaca.org. All of that is outlined on there, but I'll go through, and I give you that because in case I miss something here, but I will go through what that does look like. We have to stay here. We have some City Hall employees here for elections. It is closed to the public, except for those who want to absentee vote or register to vote. We are encouraging them to do that by mail. There is a myvote.com website where people can request online or mail in voting for absentees. But as of right now, elections are still on for April 7th, and we're planning as if that will continue, and we'll keep everyone updated on changes. So that's City Hall. I will say that our Community and Economic Development Department, they are working remotely. Everyone else at City Hall that can work remotely is, and all of our phone lines have been forwarded to their personal phones, and they are able to receive that during regular working hours. So people can still get service and assistance that way. From a wastewater standpoint, we do have some wastewater employees coming in daily. Also water, we have daily testing requirements that we have to meet that have to be done each day. So they're doing that. Right now, we are going to be working, as I kind of alluded to before, in the parks and street departments on developing a plan to where we can have people work safely underneath the order and make sure we're staying within those guidelines. As you guys know, or maybe you don't know, parks are available to the public, and the governor is suggesting people get outside and recreate in a safe manner. So our parks we expect to be pretty busy. Playgrounds, as a part of that order, are closed, are mandated to be closed, so no one can go on the playgrounds, and we'll have some signage up and make that
I'm
apparent.
going to interrupt you with a suggestion, but if you get to one park and there's a lot of people there, the city's got about what, 15 parks, maybe check out a different one for the first time and see someplace new that's maybe less busy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. And check out all of our parks on our webpage. We also have a beautiful state park right out our back door at Hartman's Creek. So it's a big, vast area that I think you could probably walk around and not see anyone for a little bit. Library is closed. All employees are working remotely from the library. Police department is still, out there. Our patrol officers are out there. Our supervisory positions are working remotely whenever possible. And emergency services, ambulance, fire, all that stuff will be functioning as normal. Waupaca Online, you guys are working remotely, except for when you need to come in to take care of infrastructure needs. I know you want to make sure that all the people, especially during this time, have access to internet, as they probably need it now more than they have.
And yesterday was our first day of working remote, and the staff did a really good job with what needed to be handled. And we did have to come in and do a few small things, but it went good for the first day, and I'm hoping it stays that way for the remainder of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, I guess the last thing I'll touch on, recycling center. We've had a few questions about the recycling center. It seems like now if people are home, this is the time they take to clean out their garage or their basement and they have a bunch of garbage. Our recycling center will remain open, and that's a commission that makes that determination. And so far, they are staying open. The attendant is just altering the way that they're doing things to make sure that they're not coming into contact with people. So you may not get help sorting through your stuff, but it will be open during normal hours to take your things there.
So I think one of the nice things the governor did this week, whether you like the order he issued or not, is he at least put a little bit of certainty on what's going on to some extent. And we can't predict what a month from now will look like, if it gets extended or ended early, or what the situation will be. But I think it helps both of you as leaders in the school and the city maybe kind of plan what's next a little bit. So if we look at the next week or two, Ron, what do you see on the school perspective?
Well, we're going to see our learning continue. As you know, our teachers and our education assistants are keeping office hours, and that's from 8 to 11, so 3 hours in the morning, and then from noon to 3, so that they're available to answer any questions that the students or parents may have about the lessons that the teachers have provided to the students. The interesting thing, Josh, is last week when we sent that survey out to our families, we had regarding what is your level of internet connectivity and access and devices. We had 365 of our families respond, and from that 365, we're able to winnow that down to 57 families that needed some assistance. Wow. And we provided then 49 hotspots to families so that they would have a connection. And our student services team has been working with the remaining 8 families of the 365 that said that they had some needs. 8 families it was down to a couple days ago, and as of yesterday, I know it's down into less than a handful. So
it's pretty commendable.
Yeah, we're pretty excited about that. So our goal is 100%. I don't know if we're going to be able to do it because, you know, some people may not be able to get even a cell phone connection depending on where they live geographically. But our student services people, our social workers, our school psychs, our counselors are in frequent contact with these families, and we're giving them the options of what can be done. So, you know, when you talk about what next week looks like, it's going to be a continuation of that in the food service, a lot of virtual connections to our families, the teachers. I know myself, I'm involved in virtual meetings. This is the 3rd one today, Josh. So it just never ends, and it seems like it's even more busy than normal. It's just a new, different normal.
You can't get away from these meetings when you're working at home.
It's going to be different. I don't know. I got 3 little ones at home and a 6th grader and twin 4th graders. You know, they all have their workstation set up. I know I'll be able to do a little bit more supervision of them and hopefully be able to help them. But I don't know how that's going to impact if I'm in a virtual meeting and they're looking for some assistance. We'll see how that goes.
And Aaron, as you look ahead, maybe the next week or so with city operations, what word do you want to get out there?
Well, I think one thing, and Ron alluded to it earlier, and they were kind of the guinea pig at having that first historic virtual meeting and an open meeting forum. We're going to be moving towards that. We have a plan commission meeting next Wednesday. I expect the mayor to make a mayoral declaration today that will allow us to vote via video conferencing, and we can do that. We can lean back on some state statutes and stuff that have been changed to allow us to do that, just like the school district. And then the council will hopefully affirm that at the next council meeting. So we're going to be working through that and just the new normal as far as how do we get business done in our committees, not only the council, but our committees, whether it's park board or library board or police and fire commission, so on and so forth. So we'll look forward to that challenge. Right now, actually, after this video conference call, we have another video conference call with our community preparedness group that we've kind of put together with a bunch of community partners, including Theta Care, Red Cross, Waupaca County Emergency Management, a bunch of city staff, school district, Chamber of Commerce, and I apologize, I'm going to be missing some, but this will be our 2nd conversation. We had a conversation on Friday, and we're going to continue to follow up with each other, making sure we're taking care of the things we need to take care of in advance, so we're not surprised by anything a week out. That group has been good. It's only been 1 meeting, but we'll continue to work towards that. One of those things that kind of halfway came out of that was, you know, Ruby's Pantry today is working with Trinity Lutheran Church. I should say for tomorrow, they have a food pickup site at Swan Park. That was really between those 2 organizations that coordinated that. That'll be from 4 until 6 at Swan Park tomorrow, Thursday. So if anyone has interest in going there, I'd certainly strongly encourage you to do that. And then another small thing, we're taking personal protective equipment, or PPE, here at City Hall for Theta Care. You know, supplies right now across the country are hard to come by. And anyone who's a business or maybe a different type of medical provider, maybe it's a dentist that has some, you know, masks or some personal protective equipment that they can drop off at City Hall. We encourage them to call in advance so we can come open the door for you, and we will take that. We will not take used equipment. If there is new equipment that has not been used, we will absolutely take that, and we'll get that to Theta Care to help them out during this time. So those are some of the things that we're working on. And lastly, we look forward to as maybe the orders stop, maybe we can just get back to talking about some city business, and looking forward to a plan commission meeting and talking about projects. And we were able to do that in one of our development review team meetings yesterday. So just completing our regular daily work through the means that we're doing right now.
Well, Aaron, Ron, I appreciate your time to get this information out to the community. And if things change and if there's a need to, I'd love to get together again next week if we do need to get new information out there. But we'll get this out there and keep people informed. And really thank you again for your time.
You're welcome, Josh. Thanks for the invitation. Anytime. Just let me know.
Absolutely. Thank you, Josh.